Christine running. If you're interested in seeing all of the nightmare that we went through to get to this point, stay tuned. All right, Bill with Restoring Christine. Christine, she is almost done. 4-year journey. 4-year journey. Bumper to bumper, frame off, plenty of rust repair, painting, doing it all in this garage, all by myself. 4 years now. I'm finally ready to light this power plant. So let's tell you what we got going here. This is a 307. I didn't know it was a 307 when I took it apart, but that's what I found out when I measured the bore and stroke. And lo and behold, there it is. But you know what? That's the only little motor that's ever powered this car, and I've had it for 20 years, and I'm sticking with it. It's got plenty of attitude. It's been plenty fine to get me to go from A to B. It's not a race car, but it is a hot rod, and this is totally old school, and we love it. So today we're going to try to get it running. Let me show you what the last little bits we got to do is on the top end now. We've got, you see there's no carburetor, so I just finished putting in the plug wires. There's no battery in it, radiator's in it. Everything else is ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I've got a brand new Holley I'm going to unbox, show you that. We're going to put that on the top end. We're going to hook up all of our linkages, hook up the fuel line, put the battery in. I got a brand new American Auto Wire wiring harness in this thing, and the only time it's ever seen power is when I first finished that. And the battery's been out ever since. So today is the day. Fluids and a prayer. Let's hope she lights. Here we go. All right, this is a brand new Holley from Summit. I do confess I've already had the box open because I had to check a few different ports and different things, but that's all I did with it. This is a 4150. This is a mechanical secondary, a brand new unit. It's beautiful. Exactly what you would expect it to be. The mechanical secondary, so here's the throttle linkage. Mechanical secondaries on it. So there's no vacuum. It's got a manual choke on it, I think. There's no vacuum choke on it. This is a small little carburetor. This is a 600 CFM. If I could have gone smaller, I'd have gone smaller with this 307. I have HO305 heads that I ported and put on that block, and you know, so what I took off of it, it had a Holley 750. And at 750, it used to choke on fuel. It was just way too much, and now I understand why. There's no displacement right there with that 307. So I'm going to keep it light, a 600 CFM, and here it is in the box. What else is in the box? They give you a gasket for both the bottom, the base, and the horn for the air filter. But I don't want to trust this little paper thin gasket. That might stop vacuum leaks, but that's not going to stop boil over. I want something that's going to insulate, so I ordered a separate base plate. This is a good more than a quarter. This is probably 5/16 of an inch thick, if not 3/8. And height is always good, so if you build up the carburetor, give the fuel a little more time to get accelerated down into the manifold, you'll pick up a couple little horsepower. But anyway, this is what we're going to have. We're going to mount this. I've got the carburetor itself. I've got to go through all the settings on it. This is straight out of the box. So with what better place to start than with the instructions? Can you believe it? We're going to read the instructions. So let's see. Installation starts on page 4. So here we go. GM applications, transmission, install the studs. I want to see if they've got anything with the bench. If they tell me like it's already got, let's see, let's go to the introduction. Has been factory wet flowed and calibrated. The out-of-the-box setting should be very close for all adjustments. That's all I needed to see. I'm glad I don't have to set the float right now. This is awesome. That's a big plus, so that we can start bolting this thing in, because I think that's where it started. It said basically just go to your manifold and attach. So we're going to go ahead and do this. I've always had these stainless steel studs on Christine. These are awesome. If you don't have those for your carburetor, these are great. They're clean. they're beyond tidy. They're just, it's just nice. You can get the carburetor on and off if ever you got issues. And you know, you're gonna have issues. You're running a hot rod, an old classic car. They do misbehave. You do need to get into them every now and then. And if you got to remove your carburetor, this is always very helpful, is to have these studs. So I've got a cardboard blocking plate that I had here that I just blocked off the manifold. Pull that off. So happy to see that go. Tells me we're making progress. You can actually see my manifold's got some carbon buildup in it. A little bit. I cleaned it as best I could, but you can see how rich Christine was burning before with that 750 on this little 307. Whoever put that on really wasn't thinking, or just ran what they had. This is super pretty, man. Look at that. If that doesn't make it look like a mean machine. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Earlier today, I just finished putting the valve covers on. These things have been sitting in a box forever, and I've been having Edelbrock valve covers, the ones that were on here before, and everybody thought that's what I was going to run. I'm like, nah, I got something special, something really nice that I'm going to put on there, but I'm saving the bling for the end. I didn't want to give away my surprise. I didn't want to give away the look, the attitude. But Christine's definitely got attitude. She's always had a real nice lope. If you watch my videos, I've got what I call a screen wipe, and it's a picture of Christine at night. And I had a video back when that I recorded of Christine, and she was running in the driveway. And everybody's just, that's ever run across Christine, just loves the lope that this little motor has. And so that's Christine's motor in the background. That's this 307 if you hear it. Let me get a socket and we can tighten those up. This has been a long time coming. I'm potentially in a doghouse right now. I've been out here for weeks trying to get this ready. I'm going to blow everybody's mind, all my regulars that have been watching, with what comes next. It is going to be way out of left field. But I'm going to save that news flash and not try to steal Christine's thunder. Alright, so let's see. Make sure those are good and tight, and then what we can do is we can get the fuel rail for these double pumpers. I want to say I got mine from Speedway. It's a chrome fuel rail like this, and it's got a you can put a pressure gauge on it. So I like having a pressure gauge. I used to have the pressure gauge on my original one. I treated myself to a new one. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna take some Teflon and put that on, and then we'll go ahead and mount the fuel rail. All right, for those paying attention at home, you do use the Teflon on a pipe thread, but not on a flare thread, right? I'll peel the sticker off. I don't want to see this warning label. Peel that off, and then we'll put it on. It's an 11/16, so it's not a small wrench. I think that might be tight enough. Let's see. I'm using Shell Rotella T5 10W30. It's a synthetic blend, and I am one of these. I'm one of those guys that likes to fill the oil filter. I just do not like a dry start. I just don't think it's smart. I mean, if this is wasting time, so what? You want to talk about cheap insurance? Just it'll be that much quicker in my mind, and that much quicker for that oil to make it to those journals as soon as the motor starts running. So this one now, that's about my 4th pass on it. So I've also got to put power steering fluid in. I need to bring the jack up front, put the power steering fluid in, and spin the wheels back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to try to purge the air out of it before I start it. If not, it's going to sound like a banshee. Hydraulic whine and squeal. I'm so nervous. This is not a new cam in here. This is my old cam, and it's my old lifters, and I didn't even take apart the rotating assembly. So when I disassembled the motor, I left the short block intact. So the crank, all I did was just make sure that the rods and journals were torqued appropriately, but I didn't take them apart. I put a new oil pump, new heads, same manifold that I had before, intake manifold, new exhaust. That's these are Sanderson block hugger headers, and this is a 307. So those are 1.5 inch primaries, and they're shorty. They're block huggers. So I've got 2¼ inch exhaust after that, dual feed going out through Flowmaster's Type 40. All right, what's next? Let's get some power steering fluid in it. I actually have a quart left over. I don't know that I got enough. I usually run transmission fluid in the power steering system, but I've got this, so this is what I'm going to use. And it's probably going to drink because this is a bone dry system. It's a brand new CPP power steering unit, Classic Performance Products. Video on that. I went inside and washed my hands before I do this. I just jacked it up. Just keep going back and forth to get all that air out of the system. Hopefully get fluid circulating throughout the pump, throughout the gearbox, the hoses. It's another thing I got to worry about is when I start it, all that stuff's brand new, so there's a chance for leaks everywhere. The only thing that's not going to be hot is the AC. The AC I can't do anything with until I didn't want to pre-charge it in case I got to take something apart. I want to make sure the motor's solid, and then I'll worry about the AC after. Put the battery in. So this is a battery I bought a couple of years ago, and I've been using it to test. And it's got overspray and whatnot. I'm trying to clean it up. I've got a dress-up kit for it to make it look like an AC Delco, but I'm gonna wait until after I do this to test it. Look at me backwards. Yep. I'm gonna wait until I have a successful test run before I do that. Okay, even though there's no fuel in it, now with the battery on, dome lights are on. I should turn this to on, and the fuel pump ought to run. There's no fuel in it though. Good sign, I hear it. So what I'm gonna do, all right, my oil light just came on, so that's new. I'll put the idiot lights back together. So let's see, turn that off. I'm going to put some fuel in it, and I'm going to pump the system. I got the hose that comes off of the fuel line coming from the back. It's a hose that's going to go up to the carburetor, and I'm going to run it back into the gas can, and I'm just going to purge the air out of the system. This reminds me, fuel in. All the fights we've all had over the years with gas cans and fuel tanks. Do you remember when unleaded, they started requiring unleaded fuel in cars, and they put a small little receptacle on the fuel tank, and you had to go to the auto parts store and go buy the adapter so that you could put regular fuel in your unleaded fuel car? And then what? They made gas cans where you can't pour gas out of them. And now they make where you can't siphon fuel out of cars anymore. You gotta put a hose in them. There's a anti-tamper thing somewhere in the tank. Yeah, all that stuff. I'm sounding like a crotchety old man. All right, I got my fuel line that goes to the fuel rail along the frame. Fuel pump is behind the passenger side door, and I've got this this hose stuck in here a good bit. May wedge something in there, and I'm gonna turn the key on and then get the fuel to pumping. The other reason for purging that system is any junk in the lines. Even though they're brand new, you never know. You never know what's going to be lurking in there. So, you know, I cut these fuel lines. I bent them. Who knows what's on the inside of them? You know, who knows what's on the inside of that tank, even though it's brand new. All right, I'm gonna go turn the key back on, but I want you to watch that fuel pressure gauge. We should start to build pressure. Should fill the float bowls. I need to look at that. Should hear a change in tone. Here comes the pressure up. And it stopped. So those float bowls ought to be filled. They have sight glasses. They have sight glasses. Yep. Yep, both of them have fuel in them. All right, well good, because it's like holding pressure. So it's either bleeding into the carburetor, which I doubt, or it's got, it's ready to go. A few more steps. I gotta get the vacuum advance hooked up, and unfortunately I gotta make do hose. I don't have the real deal. So I need to run it from here to that port on the front metering block. On the front metering block, that's a special port that's designed for the vacuum advance of the distributor. So that's what we're going to use. I know there's a big, there's always a fight and an argument over what's, you know, ported, open, whatever, yada 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 with the whole thing. So if this is what Holley says to do, that's on there. I'm gonna have to get a plier or something. But that's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna hook up from that port to the vacuum canister. All right, I got that sorted out. So now I gotta bend my. Last thing is bend my accelerator spring, my throttle return spring tab over a little bit. Put the spring on, and we ought to be ready to put fire in a hole. Like it belongs there. Oh my. Okay. I really need to step back and check everything. I put oil in it. It's at top dead center. Distributor was on the number 1. Vacuum hose is hooked up. Carburetor is hooked up. We have fuel pressure. Fuel is in it. Coolant. I need to put coolant in it. I don't have any coolant in it yet. I got power steering fluid. I put, even though I'm not going to move it, I have gear oil in my transmission. All right, let's go ahead and put coolant in it. That's the last thing, I think. How silly is this? You can buy 100% antifreeze, which is what this is, for a certain price. And you can buy 50/50 diluted coolant for the same price. Go figure. Makes no sense. So I'm pretty sure it's going to take more than a gallon. By the time all the water jackets and everything gets filled in this radiator. So once I get the coolant in it, I'll be able to let it sit and check for any fluid dripping. Let me go get a gallon of water now and top it off. It took 4 gallons, and it's just now, just getting to where I can touch with my finger. So I'm gonna let it go with that. Put the cap back on. Go through my checklist again and see before we turn the ignition. I'm gonna put my timing light on it so that I can check it once I start it. Make sure the timing's okay. All right, I got my timing light hooked up. Okay, if I got the wires hooked up, I have the timing light plugged in. All right, the timing light's ready to go. Am I nervous? You better believe it. This is a long time coming. I don't want to hurt anything. I don't want anything to go boom. My distributor's loose. I ought to be able to turn it to advance it or retard the timing. So I'm going at this cold. You're gonna see this, better or worse. I've not started it up and cheat. Oh, let's see if it starts. Oh yeah, nope. Oh boy. Fuel pump pumping. Let's see. out of gear, neutral safety engaged. Oh, we got something. Advance that timing a little bit. She wanted to spit. I just realized it's got a manual choke. It's got a manual choke, and the choke was shut completely off. No wonder why it wasn't firing, it wasn't getting in the air. All right, I'm gonna leave it wide open. Leave the choke wide open, it ought to spit now. I'm gonna put the timing back where it was. No wonder, it was definitely flooding, it was drowning, it was gasping for air. All right, let's try that. Check, did anything like leak? Boy, you hear all that temperature, everything coming up to temperature, everything settling and shifting. All right, still needs more timing, but I'm about to run out on my distributor. It's tight. I didn't get a chance to look down at my gauges. Let's see what I'm getting. All right. Did you see any water? Did you see anything? Let me know if you saw anything. Huh. Whoa! Yeah, there's something all over the ground. All over the ground. I got something catastrophic. I need to find out what the hell that is. I don't know what happened. Something. I need to figure that out. I bet it's the power steering pump. No, that's oil. That's oil. Oh my God. Where did it come from? Where did it come from? I need to find that and quick. And quick. Where did that come from? It stopped now that it's not running. So it tells me it's leaking and under pressure. I can't tell exactly where though. I'll have to look. That's a lot of oil. All right, it definitely didn't hurt the motor. I didn't run it long enough. All right. Like I said, it's a crapshoot. It is a crapshoot. Yeah, this is disappointing. I need to figure this out. I'm sorry. I just picked up a solid 2 quarts of oil off the floor. But now that I've rolled Christine back, you can see it's just dripping a little bit from near the cross member. So it looks like it's not a leak. It's something with pressure. So I don't know if it's my oil gauge sending units back here, or if it's a rear main seal. There's only a couple places it could come from. My oil filter went on good and tight. I mean, I'm gonna look at it all. I'll climb underneath there in a second. But this is disgusting. I need to get this cleaned up so I don't track it everywhere. What a mess. Well, now that I've cleaned it up, that's a full 2 quarts I picked up, if not more. It was a lot. And the only thing I'm seeing so far is right there, my oil pressure sending unit, right there. There's some oil on the top of it, but I can't tell. I mean, if that would have been leaking that badly, it would probably have been squirting up and all over the place. So I think that's just a drip. So I don't think that's it. But I need to climb underneath it and look. All right, I'm underneath here, and I can see a little trace of drip from the oil plug. All right, but then look where it's still puddling. It's over towards the front of the motor since I moved it. See, it's still dripping on the frame. See that? I wonder if that's water though. Maybe that's water. That seems too, I don't know, let me check. but I don't see anything back here. I mean, look, it looks dry on the flywheel. I mean, it would have been slinging, if it would have, from that rear seal, it should have been slinging everywhere. I need to get the car jacked up so I can get underneath it. All right, what's in the front? That's water. Yeah, that's water. And in the back where that hammer just happened to be on the floor is oil, but that's like near the drip plug. Still not seeing it. Well, I've climbed all over it, and the only thing I can see, I got a water leak in the front. Don't know what that is. It looks like maybe it's coming from the back of the water pump on the block. Maybe. I don't know. And the other thing is the oil leak, I think, is the oil sending unit, is where I have the rear oil port on the top of the block behind the distributor. See how the tubing is scuffed at its base? It was bouncing up and down. That's absolutely it. Gee, man. All right. Oh, man. Okay, let me fix that. Well, I hate to say it, but it did again. I tightened the fitting, and I moved the distributor over, and it started a little easier. And I wanted to see if I had that oil leak fixed. And I mean, I stuck my head underneath. I had the door open, I stuck my head underneath, and I could see like a geyser just pointing straight backwards. So there's one of the gallery plugs has got to be missing, but it was enough to where I could see it coming out. So I need to go look at a diagram and figure out exactly where it is on that back of that block. So as you can see, it's dark. It's getting dark. It's starting to rain. I went to the parts store. I spent a lot of time doing a lot of research all day long. And I think I found the culprit. You will not believe this. On the left, I have the STP S25. On the right, I have the AC Delco PF1218, which is the equivalent of what used to be the PF35 or the PF25 or the PF30, something like any one of those. It's got the same threaded diameter, but look really good at these two oil filters. Look at the gasket. Look at the gasket. I gotta get Christine in the garage. I needed to clean up this oil mess. She's watertight, but the rain, the rain's just that suits the day. It's just the way it's gone. So I think that's my problem. I had a cruddy oil filter the whole time. Never knew it. Same part number I've always bought. They changed the spec on it. They changed the spec on it. So I hope I didn't hurt the motor. I don't think that I did, but you know, there's that. So what I'm gonna do is I took the oil adapter off, and I went and I cleaned, and I made sure I'm looking, trying to figure it out, because that's where the oil was coming from. When I started it back up, it came out that side, and it was just a straight shot, and there's no oil port anywhere there. None. There's no oil port. So I'm like, how could it shoot straight back? I'm seeing it gushing out. I'm seeing it like come out, and it's not hitting the flywheel. It's not hitting the exhaust. It's not leaving a trail anywhere except for on the ground. The oil filter. So I'm gonna get my oil dry. I'm gonna spread it out around here, but I'm gonna have to live to fight another day. So we will see you on the flip side. All right, I have to confess, it's been days since I've been brave enough to come out here. I didn't come out here during the week. I waited until the next weekend. I was exhausted during the week, and but I think I have our smoking gun. Last thing I showed you was the two filters. Well, I climbed underneath Christine. I put a piece of paper on the boss where the oil filter screws onto, and watch. So this is you can kind of see. You see where the oil is. That was on the boss, and then so I tried to scribe the edge, and if anything, I got the edge a little tight. You know, it's like that edge is actually probably a little further out than that diameter. And here's that STP filter. Not even close. I mean, not even close. 100% of my problems right there. let me grab the AC Delco filter. Just still in the box. And here it just lands. So between the outer bore where the filter fits in and the diameter of the filter, and then the diameter of this gasket, that's 100% of my problems. I'm going to put oil in here, put oil back in Christine, set the camera up so that you can watch. I'm going to document what's going on. I'm going to document, because the last time it's like all I could do is just stick my head underneath the car with my foot on the gas to try to keep it running. So I'm a little shaken from all this, so my confidence is not exactly high right now, but I've got my fingers crossed, and I think we got it figured out. But man, please, please, please work, and please, please, please tell me I did not hurt this motor. Just to be sure, I'll pull that STP filter gasket off. I'm gonna see what it looks like. Look at this. It's not even close. I mean, you can't even pretend. You can't even pretend that that fits. Jeez. Okay, you got the bird's eye view. You got the closest view. I got oil in it, filters on. Here goes nothing. Oh boy. Oh, you don't know how good that feels. Okay. And the motor, I didn't hear anything. It just sounds tight. Let me pull you out from underneath here. That's a relief. Okay. I don't mean to sound melodramatic, but my goodness, it had me worried. Okay, so now all I need to do is just get it tuned. Get it tuned. I don't know where the timing is. It may be a little slow still. But it fired up. Everything's still a little tight. But it's not quite idling. I'm going to raise the idle. I'm going to raise the idle screw a little bit and just see where we are. I don't know where that is on default, because every time I get off the gas, it stops. All right, I advanced the timing a little bit, and I raised the, ramped up the idle screw a little bit here. Let's see if we can just get it to stay running. I had my timing light set up last week, but I didn't put it back yet. But that valve train sounds loud. loud, loud, loud. That's unusual. I don't know why the valve train's so loud. So listen to the back. That's really loud. That doesn't sound good. Condensation. Yeah, it's very loud. Very, very loud. I wonder why. I might have to pull rocker covers off and check the valve lash. This is a hydraulic cam. And actually, you may notice I'm not going through any kind of break-in right now because that's the cam with the previous lifters. So, I don't know if maybe I got a lifter that needs to be, to pump up or something, and it's got a little bit of slack, but it's a little loud. That's a concern. Let's see if she'll kick. Yeah, the timing's way off. I don't know what the hell. Retarded a little bit. I mean, it's not backlashing, but it's not kicking. It should fire right up. Still almost sounds like it's like a diesel with the bent valve. I wonder if I've got them lashed too tight. All right, I'm gonna let the motor cool down, and I'm gonna come back and pull the valve covers off and just make sure we're not running into trouble. So just loosened all the 4 bolts for the valve cover and pull the valve cover off for the first time. And I'm not even gonna look. You're gonna see if there's any heartbreak here. We're gonna look and see if there's any metal in the back. Looks clean. Yeah, it looks clean. If I was flattening out a tappet, a lobe, we'd have seen it. We'd see metal right now. But it looks like we're good, so that's encouraging. I will say that when I assembled the motor, I set my lash at 0 plus a quarter turn. And that's pretty loose. That's probably where the noise is coming from, I'm hoping. Normally it's like half to 3/4, and I went with a quarter turn out of habit. I used to race on dirt, and we used to have a vacuum rule that you had to pull 1,000 at 1,000 RPMs. You had to pull 16 inches of vacuum. So you put a bigger cam in it, and then you loosen up the lash, and so you get a lesser duration at idle. And you it improves the vacuum at idle. But anyway, I went with that on this, and also looser is, to me, a little gentler on the lobes. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna reset all the valves and make sure that they're all at like half turn tight. So I need to take my time and do that. I've reset all the valves. I went to like maybe 5/8 of a turn on everything after so I rotated the motor and did them one at a time. But a couple of things. I'm noticing I've got liquid on top of every valve. So I know I got good oil flow, and that's the driver's side. Let's look at the passenger side. I'll show you the same thing. But I got good liquid on top of every rocker arm. There's liquid throughout the top of the head. And the most important thing, which I already showed you, there was no paste, and that would be indicative of a wiped cam lobe. So I think I've got a total of maybe 2 to 3 minutes of runtime on the motor right now. And again, this is not a full rebuild, it was a refresh. I left the bottom end alone, I left the cam alone. It's basically all the soft seals and everything, and I just cleaned out the carbon, I cleaned out all the oil passages, and I did that. So just a little bit of a freshen on this motor. So I'm going to go ahead and put the valve covers back on. We're going to try to start it again, and let's see what we got. If that valve train is still noisy, I don't know. Maybe I just need to run it. But at least I feel better now that I've had the valve covers off and I'm seeing I'm not wiping the lobe. Before I go ahead and button it back up, I just wanted to show you. I am going to add, I'm using that Shell Rotella, but I'm using T5, and I really shouldn't have. I should have been using a T4, but still both of them are not like break-in level of zinc. So what I did is I just went and picked up some of this break-in ZDDP additive. So this is by Lucas, and this one is meant to be for break-in, so I'm going to use this right now. I'm going to go ahead and put it in, and then that should add all the right minerals and nutrients, whatever, for this thing to if it needs any help during break-in. If anything does need to remate and reseat, then this will see to it or it'll be a little bit of added insurance. So I'm going to add this, put the valve covers on, and restart it. All right, let's try it. Put the valve covers on. Let's see. That valve train is still noisy for my liking. Put a timing light on it. I'm gonna have to pick the distributor up and change it a notch. I'm running out, and it's like 35 degrees, and then when I start to rev it up, it goes up to over 40 degrees, and that's too much. That valve train is deafening. Deafening. Less than 60 psi. I'm over 14 volts, and now my water's hovering just a little over 180, so it's at full temperature. We got full temperature, but what we don't have is we don't have tachometer. Tachometer's dead. I don't know, tachometer might be broken. The needle was kind of acting a little funny. I don't know. So I don't know what RPM I'm at. I'm afraid to really rev it because of that timing, but intentionally have the idle up for a little bit of break-in time. So far, so good. It's not getting, oil pressure's holding. It's not getting any louder, and it's not starting to miss. I'm so afraid of wiping them over. So let's let it run. So I just brought the idle down. See, I got a little smoke coming out of the... I don't ever like to see that, but I don't have a PCV valve hooked up to it yet, but I see smoke coming out of the breather. That's that sound that everybody always loved about Christine, man. Just need to see. Fingers crossed and hope it holds. I just like to watch Christine take her first baby steps. I'm going to back her out of the garage using the collection. Let's see what happens. Make sure I don't run anything over. Baby steps. Baby steps. Oh man. Well, she's running. Are you stressed? I'm stressed. I'm ridiculously stressed. It's a lot louder than I wanted her to be. She's a lot louder in the front. She's a lot louder in the back. I close the door. It's still loud. Maybe I got used to my Cutlass. But those are Flowmaster 40s, so they're not as loud as it could be. But if it really gets to be aggravating to me, I might swap them out. I don't know. I just need to get used to it. The valve train noise, those are aluminum valve covers. So what I need to do is explore some dampening on them. I had the Edelbrox. The Edelbrox had fins. They might have been a little quieter. I don't know. These are different heads. So I don't know. It just sounds very valve trainy, if there is such a word. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to cut it off here. I know there's going to be people that watch this video and say you're an idiot. You don't know what you're doing. And you know what they can do. Look, I've been doing cars and hot rods and motors since I was a teenager, and I'm almost a 60-year-old man. And this is the kind of hot rod I'm used to dealing with. This is the kind of hot rod and motoring and tinkering I'm used to doing. And you know, it just is what it is. And this is not an LS motor. It's not an LS motor. It's all that first generation small block, right? I kept the 307. Come on, how many other guys you know out there hot rodding the 307? All right, we're gonna cut it off at here. And we're gonna get back at it. The next thing, I'll be doing some tunes and tweaks. I need to pull the distributor up and then change the timing, or get it set in a different spot so I can tune the timing. The timing needs to be retarded a little bit. I need to hook up the PCV system. So right now I just got 2 vents on it, and it's smoking a little bit. But I've had the valve cover off. When it cools off, I'll pull the valve cover off again, make sure I don't have any metal. But I think we're on our way. So I think we're showing signs that we're out of the woods. So that's going to do it for this episode. Do hope you got something out of it. Hope you, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, if you're enjoying my channel, I'd love a subscription. So until I see you next time when we continue tinkering and we fine tune, take care of yourself.